Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is, what are the most important prophecies from the year 2022? And I have to tell you, I didn't go through all of them because it would take me 2 or 3 days to go through all of them. But I did skim through them, and I picked out some of the most important ones, the ones that we really need to remember, because 2022, I've been doing this 40 years. I've never seen God speak so much as he spoke in 2022. I mean, people having dreams and visions and angel visits and audible voices like I've never seen. He's never talked this much. Now, you want to say, oh, that's real good. Actually, no, that's not real good. When God doesn't say anything, that's a compliment. I remember one time I was getting in the car with Dimitri Duduman and also Dan Bowler, pastor out of Missouri, and Michael Boldea, and Dimitri was in the car. We sat down, and Dan Bowler turned to Michael Boldea and said, "Would you ask Dimitri if he has a prophecy for me?" And Michael turned to him and said, "Shh, if he doesn't have anything to say to you, that's a good thing." Same thing. God doesn't hand out compliments hardly ever. When God speaks, it's generally bringing correction. And that's what he brought in 2022, and that's what we're going to be covering today. All right, first of all, I want to say a big thank you to all of the people that helped us during our December funding drive. Thank you very much. And also mentioned that we did not reach our goal. We were kind of shocked we didn't reach our goal. So I know some of you may have intended to give and maybe forgot, or while the deadline is passed for you to get it onto your 2022 taxes, if you can bless Prophecy Club, if God has blessed you, then yes, we would still appreciate your support. Also, let me give you an overview of what I think are the most important prophecies. First of all, we have 11 of them saying that the dollar is going to fall. 11 of them. And it started with Shane Warren all the way back in 2010. And by the way, if you want some solutions on that, I would suggest you call cornerstoneassetmetals.com. We have 14 saying that the American Pacific and the world in general is about to have a food shortage. And for that, I'll send you to josephkitchen.com. If you use Prophecy Club as a promo, you get a $50 discount. We have 32 prophecies saying that there's going to be suitcase nukes hit all across America. I'm not prepared to, but Hal Turner just had an article that came out and said that the FBI has now come out warning and saying Al-Qaeda is now getting ready to launch a bunch more attacks in America. No, it's not Al-Qaeda. It's Moloch, okay? And it's probably going to be suitcase nukes. Anyway, and for that, we'll send you to EMPShield.com. Promo code prophecy gets you a $50 discount there too. And 7 prophecies saying that there's going to be a surprise nuclear attack by Russia on America that destroys us. Now, because I know some of these dreams and visions, especially the ones from Vicky Parnell, sound like Russia is about to attack America right now. And I'm about to read one of them. Just because God speaks like it's about to happen right now, I mean, just like when he spoke in Revelation, he said, the time is at hand. Well, that was 2,000 years ago. So just because it sounds like the bombs are on the airplanes heading this way right now, they're not, okay? I can guarantee you that Russia is not going to attack yet. And here's why I can say that. In 2015, April 15th, Leslie was spoken to in an audible voice by God, giving her 7 newspaper headlines talking about the fall of America. And they were. This particular one was April 15, 2002, and she heard Arafat going to the hospital, and that was fulfilled about 2 years later. She was also told Israel would give the Palestinians a state. That has not happened yet. The Palestinian state would be a temporary measure to allow the Israeli Times to strengthen the military. That has not happened. Oil will be discovered in Israel, and that has not happened. Oil will make the Jews willing to fight for the land. Israel and America will go against most of the rest of the Arab world. None of those prophecies have happened, which means Russia is not about to attack. That's the good news. Then, January 22 of '06, she heard these audible headlines. And June the 14th of 2008, I saw Leslie in a vision. That was the night the Lord spoke to me and said, Stan, I will give you the money to drill the well in Israel. Every time I say that, I need to tell you that I need to give a disclaimer. We cannot guarantee we're ever going to get the money or drill for or hit oil in Israel. But anyway, these were the 7 headlines she was told. Omar ushers in Palestinian state. You should be writing these down. Catastrophe hits America. One of America's greatest times of need. Israel refuses help to America. Israel has attacked America, sends troops. Chaos reigns as Americans protest help to Israel. Then she heard my voice quoting Dmitri, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution. None of those have happened yet. So again, the good news for today is Russia is not immediately about to attack America. We still have some time. Further confirmation. March 25th, 2022, Chris Reed had a vision and a visitation from the angel Gabriel. And this is what he was told. He said, first of all, he saw an angel stand in front of him and take a $50 bill, which he believes represents the 50 states of the United States. And he tore off a third of that dollar bill, representing the value of the dollar will fall by 1/3, and other prophecies say it happens almost overnight. Then people started handing him newspapers, and the headlines read, U.S. dollar drops 30% in value, subtitle Middle Eastern oil strikes deal with China instead of the U.S., and China is currently talking to Saudi Arabia about doing exactly that. Next headline, Perfect Storm, subtitle, Inflation reaches new high. You can count on it. Things in America are going to get very expensive, which is why I send you to Joseph Kitchen. Some of these are the places. Next headline, Food shortage crisis as wheat and bread imports are at a stalemate. What does that mean? It means that wheat and bread imports are going to come to a screeching halt. That means you're not going to have food, specifically wheat, which is one of the primary foods for the human body. Then he saw the angel take another $50 bill, and then he saw him tear it in half, meaning then the value goes from 30% loss down to 50% loss. And the newspapers started being handed to him again. He saw riots and civil unrest as citizens demand entitlement checks. That's straight out of Shane Warren's prophecy where he saw him holding up signs saying we want our entitlements. But there's more. Riots and civil unrest as citizens demand entitlement checks, and an earthquake happened under his feet. We do know that there's many prophecies of earthquakes, but the big one is one where Ephraim Rodriguez saw it. I've got it right here. February 14th, 2014, Ephraim Rodriguez, I've got my note too far over. Anyway, he was shown in a vision a meteor hitting near Mona Island, which, by the way, that was confirmed by Byron Surley. He also saw, I got the drawing from him to show exactly where it hit, and they both saw the meteor hit in almost the same place. So we've got 2 witnesses on that. Matter of fact, we've got more, like 14 witnesses on it. Anyway, so this meteor hits and sends a tidal wave up the eastern seaboard, and it cracks the United States. The Great Lakes open up all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Large portions of California fall into the ocean all the way up into Alaska. That's probably what he's talking about by this earthquake. Then the next headline was, Israeli and Palestinian 2-state solution reached. Okay, this prophecy here is associated with Omar ushers in Palestinian state, which is associated with this. So when you see them give the Palestinians a state here and here and here, then you know that the fall of America is very close. Major earthquake hits the United States. America in pieces. And I think that not only means pieces as in split in half, but it also means in pieces because there's many of the states leaving the United States. We're no longer the United States. We at that point become the divided states. More states, the subtitle is, more states secede from the nation, in rebellion to the federal government. Then, U.S. military takes charge as uncertainty looms over the federal government. That's probably having to do with the Internal Revolution. Then he saw a new dollar bill like a cell phone. As I've been saying for a long time, your cell phone is not your friend, okay? It's not your friend. Picture of us on it. It's not your friend. This is going to be the thing that is going to force you to take the mark of the beast, along with some other things, which we talk about another time. I'll move on. So, and he saw that the cell phone had a picture of George Washington's face on it, and the headline read, "A New Currency for a Renewed Nation." There's more. Also, let me send you josephkitchen.com, because I think that this is the best deal for emergency food. Most of your emergency food costs you $9,000 or $10,000 to feed one person for 1 year. At Joseph Kitchen, they can show you how to do it for about $1,000 a person. What you'll need to do is get yourself a machine package. This is the physical machinery to make your bread. Then you decide how much food you want. You want a package for one person, 2 people, 4 people for a year, or 6 people for a year. And you order that in. It all comes in to you, and they've got it right now. It's in stock, and they can ship it out to you. And they have several things here and there. If you go to josephkitchen.com, it'll explain all that. And this is a bread loaf that I actually cooked. I actually cooked this one. And basically, that loaf, actual food cost is about $10. You cut that into 14 meals. That means that feeds one person for a week. So since when can you feed one person for $10 for a week? You can with wheat. Go to josephkitchen.com. Very, very good deal. Next thing, continue with more prophecies that are important. Timothy Dixon was told that they're trying to disarm America, raise fuel prices, reduce our food supply, bring America to defeat, and they're going to starve the truckers so the trucks, the 18-wheelers, will stop moving. All of this is on the horizon, probably 2023, though we don't have a date for it. Now, I wanted to get to this. This is very important. I've read this once before, but where I'm going to go with this, she calls it Taiwan War Plans. In my opinion, it's really when the church gets to go to the marriage supper of the Lamb, which I already had written into my charts. Now, not the older charts, but the new updated charts. I'd already put this into some of the updates, which I'm about to show you. So she says this: "Open your eyes, daughter, and write, and I'll show you things to come in the short span of your time. Justin Trudeau and Xi Jinping do not see how they are no longer, as their world calls it, buddy-buddy. For Xi has become angry at Justin Trudeau's leaking of these hidden secret words to the public. Now, Canada will have no other choice but to align with your now broken nation. Do you see it, daughter? Do you see it? Yes, I do, Jesus, my love. This was necessary to establish Canada as your once great nation's ally in the coming war. What do you see now, daughter of mine, with your eyes wide open? I see the face of Xi Jinping of China. He's in a room with many other Chinese men wearing military uniforms, green, olive green, or something close in color. There's a meeting room, a strategy room, I know it's called. There are military men, high-ranking, I know, somehow, but I see gray or blue uniforms on some. They're spreading out maps before Xi Jinping. Maps can't be downloaded or leaked. He's using maps to devise his plans. I see diagrams and tunnels and labyrinths. A vast networking of tunnels. Xi is pointing and talking. Now he's listening to the advice of those nearby, and I can see that he is considering what is said as if weighing it thoroughly in his mind. I see more maps being laid out before him on the strategy table. It's maps of electrical grids. What is this? My eyes are searching, but the language is written in Chinese. I see Xi pick up a red marker and begin circling areas. He points to one of them I know that is the first place on the map wherever they're planning. And I cannot make out the name of the map, for it's no longer. Now I can now make out the name of the map, for it's no longer written in Chinese. This particular name is Taipei, as in Taiwan. The grid maps are moved to the side, and they're now looking at a map of Asian area, but also with it's a map of Taiwan, surrounding areas. Xi Jinping is now pointing to areas in the waters, now in the land of Taiwan. Somehow he's finalizing his attack on Taiwan. I now see bombs going off in Taiwan. I see boats, ships, submarines, drones on the shorelines of this island, meaning the fall of America will be preceded by an attack on Taiwan. This is what she was told. Now, see that I'm in space. I'm behind the sun, and I see a big gray rock. In other words, this is probably the meteor that Ephraim Rodriguez was shown. Big gray rock here, it's no longer spinning and held in one place. It once again begins moving forward toward the earth. When? I see soldiers, if they're dressed in the colonial-style uniforms with their triangular-style shaped hats like what the pictures of George Washington wore. But some are dressed in red coats while others in blue. Civil war. I hear civil war. Can all this happen? Now, here's the point. I see bombs, missiles, flying in an arch. Okay, that doesn't mean that they're on our borders like what Henry Groover saw, where they were actually parked in our beaches, where he saw every one of those bombs hit within 60 seconds of launch. In other words, just real close, just right up and down the border. These are ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. I see bombs, missiles flying in an arch upon a displayed map of our world laid out suspended in the air. They are coming from different locations in Russia. They're heading toward America. They're coming fast. But, here's the point, just before they begin hitting the soil, I see a bright light, as if a supernova flashed across the sky to the east. Now I see lights being pulled from the earth toward this great light. It happened so quickly, then whoosh! In an instant, the great light and all the smaller lights from the earth are gone with it. The missiles and the weapons then strike the earth below, and mushroom clouds begin forming everywhere one falls. What is she talking about? What she's basically saying is, as the Russian bombs are in their arch, and as they come down, that's when we go up. Now, it's not a rapture. I do not believe that there's going to be a rapture where everybody that was good gets to avoid a testing. At this point, this takes place about 4 months before the end, about 4 months before Jesus returns. Most all of the Christians at this point are already dead anyway. So it's not a rapture. It's not them avoiding any trouble. It is simply that they get to go to the marriage supper of the Lamb. Blessed are they that are called to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And that's the reason the very next scripture after that says, Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord, henceforth, yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. They didn't get to go to the marriage supper of the Lamb, but all of their works do follow them. They just weren't ready. Okay, that's what the parable says. Now let's go on. Daughter, you now see what is to come and to befall your world. I cannot lie. I've got you in my hands. Thank you, Jesus, my love. The attack on Taiwan, I see all of a sudden a vision of a revolver-type gun, black in color, with a cowboy would shoot. And I see the triggers pulled back and released, and I hear Taiwan is the trigger to this war of the world. Taiwan. Okay, so basically, when the Russians attack us is when we go to war with Taiwan. Again, that's not close. Now, I see a lighted room. I see a hand on a light switch, and this is one of those wide button instead of the small narrow ones. The wall behind the switch is beige. The light is beige. I see a beautiful hand of power come from out of nowhere and strikes and swipes his hand over the switch as everything goes dark, and I hear these words. Lights out for your nation of America, that great whore of Babylon. You remember in yesterday's program, I talked about how she was told that Jesus has handed America a bill of divorcement. Now, if you go back into Leviticus where it talks about this, and I did in the program, you'll see that when that is put into our hand, that is divorce. That is final. There's no 60-day waiting period, 90-day waiting period. You don't have to go to the court. You don't have to stand in front of a judge. The way it was in Leviticus, if you weren't pleased with your wife, you handed her, put it into her hand, a bill of divorcement, and she was on her way, period. So America has been divorced, and that means that America is going to start falling fast and hard now like we have never seen in our lifetime. Let me show you why I say this. Now, I've covered this several times here. So the next time Jesus returns is on first fruits. He comes down in a lamb body as he went up in a lamb body. He resurrects 144 one-year-old Israeli boys. They walk around with him for 50 days. During this time, this is when the angel flies through the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel preached to every nation on earth, every people, nation, language, and tongue, saying, fear God and give glory to him. The hour is come, judgment has come. Worship him, made heaven and the earth and the fountains of waters. That's the last call. That's just before we go to the marriage supper of the Lamb, if I can get my mouse to work here. And then on Pentecost, this is when he resurrects all of the wheat. This is the barley harvest. He resurrects the wheat, those that are washed in the blood of the Lamb. We go to the marriage supper of the Lamb. It's not about us. We get to see our Jesus crowned King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He comes forth and serves us at the marriage supper of the Lamb. About 4 months later, we are given a white horse as he is, and the armies in heaven, and the two angels with sickles, and us in tow, when watch, we do not participate, return with him, and this is the fall of Babylon, the second one. The first fallen is here. In other words, as Jesus walks around, and then as we go up, the bombs come down. Got that? As we go up to the marriage supper of the Lamb, not a rapture, then the bombs come down. So as the bombs hit, we are at the marriage supper of the Lamb. Now, that doesn't mean we don't go through any trouble, because, frankly, most Christians this time are dead. That's the reason after America has fallen, Babylon the Great has fallen, has become the habitation of devils and all that sort of stuff. Then is when Babylon has fallen. So bombs come down, we go up, Babylon has fallen. Then the mark warning comes out, and where it says, if any man worship the beast in his image, or receive his mark in his forehead and the hand, the same shall receive the wrath of God that is poured out with that mixture in the cup of his indignation, and she be tormented with fire and brimstone, the presence of the Lamb, presence of the holy angels. Okay, all of that takes place right here. Then, 4 months later, we return with Jesus here. This is the judgment seat of Christ. These are the new maps. These are new updated maps, which, by the way, you can get those in the Watchmen's package. I think I got that here someplace. All right, let me go through this, then I'll show you that. Okay, so here's the 7 seals. Remember, the audible voice told me the 7 seals play over 7 years. The 7 trumpets play over 7 months, but they all conclude here on the Feast of Trumpets. And the 7 vials play over the last 7 days. So the meteor hits on or about or around here. Jesus comes down here, and it may be that meteor is more like here, because it all kind of happens on or about around. We're probably talking only days away from these things happening, maybe even the same day. Then the everlasting gospel. Jesus resurrects 144,000 here. They preach the gospel for 50 days. This is the angel flying through the midst of heaven. Then we go to the wheat harvest, and then we go up to the marriage supper of the Lamb here. And then 4 months later, we return with him here. So what I recommend you do is get the Watchmen's package. You'll be getting the new updated charts with all of the latest changes to it. And you'll get, so here's what you get. You get 2 2-foot by 3-foot full color charts. You get a handwritten copy of I was just studying last night. This is where I wrote out and memorized the book of Revelation. You get a copy of this. And this has all of my notes in there explaining everything about Revelation. And then you also get a 5 DVD disc set where I teach through verse by verse from chapter, I believe it's 4 through the end of Revelation. So you've got the whole scoop. In other words, this is designed to make you a teacher of Bible prophecy. A teacher, not just to understand it yourself. Because if you made it this far, you are a watchman. And if you're a watchman, then you're obligated to be prepared to give an answer. And you can get this whole thing valued at $355 and get it for $200. And I understand that they're going like hotcakes. A lot of people are ordering them. It's really, really good stuff. All right, now, another very important prophecy. This comes to us, this lady died from endocarditis, and this is what she saw, and I'm going to just get to the point. She said, I cannot come to grips with the fact that I was dead, but my environment showed me the reality. So she tells how she died there. Let's get on to the next one. So she saw Jesus. He said, you are here for one purpose, and that must be accomplished as soon as possible. I will impact upon you my word and ask that you disseminate it throughout the world. That's you, the watchman, okay? Let them know the great tribulation is due. This is another person that says the tribulation is upon us. She didn't say it started, but it's due. It will be tougher and longer than humanity can possibly imagine. Please listen carefully because 2023 will be a tough year, a year of pains and suffering. Pains and suffering of the past years will be nothing compared to the future. Why? Because we're no longer the bride of Christ. The average greed of men will be made known, and it will be the cause of a severe pandemic. Conflicts among nations will erupt more frequently and violently than ever before. Even the most privileged will be concerned. He continued to hold my hand tightly. Tell my people that despite everything, for everyone who seeks and finds salvation in me, I, the Lord, shall be with them. I will dry the tears from their eyes and will comfort them, even as the repercussions of greed will continue to rule and prevail. He will prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, okay? My Father who rules beyond heaven and earth shall bring peace to the world, but only if the world seeks repentance. Go now and tell the world. If you've been watching this so far, you are a watchman, and you need to make some steps to get prepared and teach yourself so you can give an answer to those people, like getting the Watchman's package, getting yourself prepared so you can be a blessing in the time of trouble.
Today, we live in unsettling times. Have you ever wondered what you're going to do when food is no longer on the shelves? I'm Leslie, owner and founder of Joseph's Kitchen, and I want to show you how to make healthy, homemade, whole wheat bread for only a few $100s a year. At Joseph's Kitchen, our goal is to help you live a more healthy and prepared life. Our products are ready for everyday use, but are also designed for long-term storage. Whether you are looking to make healthy, homemade, whole wheat bread, or want to be sure your family is prepared, Joseph's Kitchen is pre-packaged to take all the guesswork out. We personally test each harvest to make sure you are getting the highest quality ingredients.
Are you and your family prepared for what may lie ahead? At Joseph's Kitchen, we are your farm-to-table alternative. Go to josephskitchen.com to order today.
We are so excited to offer you our new product. At josephskitchen.com, go check out our new spreadable honeys. You and your family are going to love them. We have pumpkin, pecan, cinnamon, and original. It's great to put in your coffee or your tea on your brand new loaf of homemade, healthy, whole wheat bread. Don't miss out on this holiday offer.
Go to josephskitchen.com or call the number on your screen today.
Terry Saka of Cornerstone assetmetals.com. So why should people call you today?
This is no longer a United States of America issue. In 2023, there will be a systemic global recession that is going to deepen, and we better protect our assets now because the dollar is not going to survive that like we think.
CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. Give them a call, talk to them, just open an account, start a dialogue, and see where the Lord wants to take you. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com.